Young American Connor Daly has been the man to beat so far in the 2010 Star Mazda Championship. He stumbled, though, in New Jersey in his quest to win the Visit Florida Cup and got knocked off the top step of the podium. Now an international cast is going to try to wrest the cup away from him as the Visit Florida Cup, part of the Star Mazda Championship, rolls into the Autobahn Country Club next. We're at Autobahn Country Club in Joliet, Illinois for coverage of the Star Mazda Championship for the Visit Florida Cup. Today it's the Harrah's Autobahn Grand Prix presented by Mazda. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Endurance star Johnny O'Connell is alongside, and Bill Stevens will have our pit road coverage here today. Second year in a row that the Star Mazda Championship has come here to Autobahn. Johnny, long racetrack, lots of corners, pretty darn challenging.
Yeah, and for these young drivers, they're going to have to be creative because you generally need really long straightaways followed by tight corners to overtake. Here you don't have that so much. So all these drivers that we're going to be watching today are going to need to be creative and aggressive.
Well, the Visit Florida Cup standings, this is the third of 5 weekends to settle that championship within a championship. The winner gets an all-expense-paid trip for 2 to the Florida destination of their choice. The points race, very, very tight. Earlier, Bill Stevens caught up with some of the contenders.
Tristan Vautier is in the running for the Visit Florida Cup. And Tristan, you got to be pretty excited about the fact that you may win a trip to Florida.
Yes. If I win the Florida Cup, it will be such a thrill. I just want to go and visit this beautiful country, go playing my golf, seeing the beautiful beaches, and chasing bikinis.
I tell you what, if I win the Visit Florida Cup, it's going to be a great time to go down and relax in Miami and enjoy the sights and enjoy the weather.
If somebody had never been to Florida, what would you tell them?
Go to South Beach for sure. I live there and I love it. All the bars, all the people, the environment, really nice.
This is the championship within a championship for the Visit Florida Cup. The winner of the Visit Florida Cup, a 7-race championship, will receive an all-expense-paid trip for 2 to the Florida destination of their choice, courtesy of Visit Florida, visitflorida.com, and our friends at Mazda. Take a look at the overall season championship standings. Connor Daly is the points leader by 41 over Anders Krohn, the Viking. Joao Orto will be third in the championship coming into today's event. Vautier, who's been very, very strong, and Kyle Lara, they were Kyle Lara, one of the winners at New Jersey. Connor DeFilippi in 6th, Grenier in 7th, Jorge Goncalves, Rusty Mitchell, and Chris Miller in the 85. All in our field here today. That's your top 10 in-series points. All right, let's take a look at our starting lineup here at the Autobahn Country Club course in Joliet, Illinois. Coverage of the Star Mazda Championship for the Visit Florida Cup. Grenier in the 17 on the pole. Tristan Vautier in the 38 car will line up alongside. Back to row number 2. Anders, the Viking, Krohn in the 47, and Jorge Goncalves in car number 9. That's one of the Team Apex cars, the Wabash Capital Investments machine. Row number 3, Joao Orto in the 18 car, and Connor DeFilippi, one of the Mazda Speed Ladder System Scholarship winners in the 11. He'll start 6th here today at Autobahn. Back to the 4th row. As the cars move into position, Nick Andres qualifying very nicely in the 81 car, one of the Anderson cars, the Indy 500 American Icon entry, and Ashley Freiberg in the 91. Now, she's a local star, hasn't run the series yet this season. Very talented young driver. She'll line up 8th, very quick in qualifying. Row number 5, series veteran David Ostella in the 16. Rusty Mitchell out of Texas, that's the Motorola car, the 66. In the 6th row here today as the field gets ready to group up for the standing start, Tatiana Calderon, quick, maybe the wet kind of threw her off today, Johnny.
Yeah, you know what? It was the first time she'd ever run in the wet, but yesterday in the dry, she'd run as quick as 3rd. So, look for her to move to the front. I think her confidence is definitely on the rise.
Kyle Lara, who won one of the races in New Jersey, didn't qualify well at all. Jeff Garibatti, who's a commodities trader in Chicago, makes his first series start. Bob Kaminsky will start in the 28 car in the 8th row. Chris Miller in the 85. Jerry Crott, one of our series regulars. Carlos Conti back to the Masters category here. Carlos Linares in the 20. Dom Bastian in the 37. And in the 11th row, Walt Bolin from Tampa, Florida. J.W. Roberts in the 65. Shotgun on the field, scheduled to go in 23rd spot. Connor Daly, and that's because his rear wing was found to be out of spec after qualifying.
Yeah, that type of mistake happens every now and then, but man, when you're a championship leader, when you are the main protagonist in the series, man, you cannot afford mistakes like that to be made.
And I don't think you can afford to let it get inside your head either. Field rolling into position on the front straightaway. They'll get the 15-second board, and then the green lights will come on. Before the cars came out to the grid, we talked to Connor about the situation.
Apparently our rear wing was maybe half a mil above the end fences, but it's in a hole that is completely legal in the rear wing. So that means that the series has given us wrong-sized parts. So, you know, I've been able to handle some of the stuff in New Jersey that's been, you know, given towards us, and it's been fine. But it's starting to get a bit strange.
Sometimes it doesn't always go your way, but when it doesn't go your way, you still have to make the absolute very best if you're truly chasing a championship.
You know, again, after New Jersey, you could see in Vautier, you could see in his eyes, you could see in his passion after the race that this is a man on a mission. And right now, I'm thinking that in the series right now, he's got momentum, he's pushing hard, and, you know, up until that last lap in the wet this morning, he was the man.
Ready to go racing at Autobahn Country Club. Glad to have you with us with Johnny O'Connell, I'm Rick Benjamin, Bill Stevens on pit road, and we're underway, and it's Grenier getting the drop on Tristan Vautier into turn one.
So far, so good. Everything nice and clean. Nobody getting too aggressive on cold tires.
Battling further back in the pack, you've got Crone in third. A couple of cars put a tire off into the mud. They're 3 wide into turn 2.
And you've got Connor Daly. He's already gone by about 7 or 8 guys. He's going to have to be creative if he wants to get to the front. Now, these type of situations, you know, a lot of times you can bank, all right, at some point there will be a full course caution. See him taking a peek to the inside there. Oh, man, this track's so bumpy, and it makes overtaking very difficult and dangerous, especially right now when these guys are on cold tires and low pressures.
23 car, that's Walt Bolin back at the back of the field. Out in front, Mikhail Grenier, Tristan Vautier fighting for that top spot. Connor Daly in the 22 car, that Indec College Network entry, had to start at the back, as Johnny O pointed out. Couple of corners, and Connor had moved up several spots. That's one of his Juncos teammates right there. That is not Connor Daly. I believe that's Tatiana Calderon's car. But your leader is Grenier in the 17, the 38 of Vautier. Anders Crone, your top 3. Jorge Goncalves in the 9 is next in line. Joao Orto in the 18, that's your top 5. And then Connor De Filippi in the 11 car, young driver with a lot of potential. But at the moment, everyone chasing Mikhail Grenier in the slow cow entry.
The first 3 cars, all Anderson Racing. Now, one of the very important things that these young guys learn, and if they're students of the sport that they've noticed, every single champion, you know, that Star Mazda has produced have been guys that on the opening laps, when tires are cold, when pressures are low, can push hard and open up an advantage. And right now, you very much saw Grenier so far really putting on a good opening lap.
Anders Crone got a taste of what the next step on the Mazda Speed Development Ladder is like. He ran an Indy Lights race at Watkins Glen a couple of weeks ago, did pretty well.
This guy's doing battle there.
And has got Goncalves trying to get by. I think he's gotten by Tristan Vautier. Side-by-side battle.
You know what? I don't know what happened with Vautier, whether he made a mistake or something, but he's falling back.
Back there battling with Joao Orto as the field puts 1 lap on the board. Grenier's your leader. Crone now is second, the 38 car of Vautier getting by the 18. So Joao Orto getting dropped back a couple of spots. The 9 car meantime got Goncalves with a nice move up to third behind Anders Crone, who is second.
Meanwhile, Grenier, you know, when you're leading a race, you finish a corner, you look in your mirror, you might count to yourself to see how close the guys are behind you. You know, Grenier right now is looking back and only seeing good things as more and more distance is appearing between him and his competition.
Good battling throughout the field. The 9 of Goncalves up to third. Your race leader is still Grenier. Crone is in second spot. There's Grenier, the leader, in the 17. Crone in that Anderson Racing 47 car, the blue trimmed machine, in second spot. That's the NCA car. Third at the moment belongs to Goncalves. He's got Vautier right with him. Orto is fifth. David Ostella up to sixth. Side-by-side battling here. Rusty Mitchell in the 66. The 19 of Kyle Lara fighting for position.
Oh, man, we saw some tire lock up there by Russell. These guys pushing hard for every position. You see Connor Daly, I think, is caught up to that group there.
Daly had to start back of the pack. 23rd on the grid. They're 3 wide, 4 wide, the 25 car. That is Tatiana Calderon, and there's Daly in the 22. So Connor Daly, as you called it, Johnny, already 13th with just 1 lap on the board. He's picked up 10 spots. Let's take a quick timeout. More of the Star Mazda Championship for the Visit Florida Cup in a moment. Our coverage of the Star Mazda Championship for the Visit Florida Cup is being brought to you today by Mazda. On any given weekend, more Mazdas are road race than any other brand. And by Visit Florida at visitflorida.com. Thinking about your next Florida beach vacation and about what's happening in the Gulf, we'll go to Florida Live at visitflorida.com for real-time information.